Friends, I come to you here from the Redwoods. It's gorgeous here. And today I'm making a video for one person. Now, other people will find it useful. And what we're going to be talking about today is company building. And the question I'm going to answer is the Peter Thiel question, which is what's one truth do you believe about, in this case, building a business? Or if you're a salesperson, this absolutely applies to you because you need to be exceptional. You need the same skills as a founder because often you're put in a situation to sell something that you shouldn't be selling in a way you shouldn't be selling it, with messaging you shouldn't be delivering, with an approach that you shouldn't be taking because the founder has set you up that way, primarily because I think people build companies ass backwards. And I think one of the reasons for this is that it's very comforting to do the things that are easy to do, the checklist items, right? Ship these features or, build this prototype. But it's really, really hard to understand the problems that exist in a market and how to understand them so deeply that you can have a different take on how to solve them. So let me first tell you about why this video came to light, and it was because of an excellent message that this young German student sent me, Finn. And right, there's no reason that someone that has had 1 year of experience in business development can send me a message so great that I have never received from anyone like this. Dude made me a 1-minute video, right? And in this video, all he talks about is he gives a deep cut reference to my content. He talks about specific things he liked in my content. Oh, this reaction thing is going to drive me crazy. Which, by the way, this is how to turn this reaction thing off. In the top right, you see the little, this is built into Mac OS. So anyways, so Finn messaged me and he was like, I'd like you to create a video on company building. And this was just a great epic message. It was a great, great message because he didn't have anything to sell me. He actually asked for something. He made an ask. He made an ask to create this video. He said, Jordan, I like your expertise so much. I want you to create more expertise just for me. I read all these startup books and I love your content. And I can't believe it's free on YouTube. Now, that is a message that resonates. So it resonates because I'm selfish and I love the sound of my own voice. And he's like, I like it too. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're immediate friends. So what I want to do is I'm actually going to take you through the advice that I would give Finn about company building. And I'm going to do it around the space that I know really well, which is sort of prospecting, AI, and what comes after the SDR is the question I'm going to answer today. And I'm going to answer it with thousands of conversations with revenue leaders over the last year. And I want to begin not by diving into the specific messaging, which I will do, but I want to begin with the best principled way to begin a business. And that is by stealing the experience of everyone that has to solve the problem today. And what I mean by that is, and there's lots of ways to do this. One is like start a podcast and interview these people. Another is go work at that job. Later today, I am reviewing a YC application that is epically precise about what they're doing and the niche they're building in. And the only way that they got there is that both of the founders had spent over a decade in the field. And so if you want to build a company, this is what you should do. You should get as proximately close to both the decision maker and the person that is experiencing the problem as possible. Now let's relate that specifically to SDRs and some of this go-to-market motion. Now, there's two types of people in the SDR sort of world. There's the SDRs and the AEs, and then there's the people that are running business development, the folks that are thinking about pipeline. Now, almost all of these prospecting businesses have been built because they're trying to solve the SDR problem, and that is backwards looking. That is trying to make a faster horse, as Henry Ford has said it. But what I would do in these company shoes is actually, instead of going and just ham on product, they need to spend time building revenue engines for companies, and they can use their product to do that. And then they will see how misaligned it is. And this is the huge problem with PLG, and it's why you haven't seen PLG be like wickedly successful and dominate everything, is that it's so hard to get to know a customer. And even the huge PLG companies, Twilio started off as PLG. I was listening to Michael Seibel talk on the DaaS podcast, which is great. It's data as a service, data service. And he was saying that there was I forget what, maybe he was talking about Twitch. I don't know which company he was talking about, but he's like, basically, we were a all company. It was just the company that we were. I got distracted by the bird. We basically weren't in contact with the users. He built a product-led growth motion where people could just buy and use the product, never have to chat with anyone. And this was a huge problem because the thing that they learned is they're just building the wrong product. And he gives some great examples where he talks about, like, Airbnb didn't charge at first. Like, there was no way to buy on Airbnb, which is like, what? Coinbase didn't allow you to purchase crypto when it first started. It's like, what? Obvious things now, but they only became obvious by spending close proximate time with the customer. And so the very first thing that you should do as a founder is build nothing. It's be as close as possible. And I've heard only one founder story that I thought did this exceptionally, and it was a German guy. Of course it was a German guy. Germans like to build in very specific ways, and they want to do step and step and step, and then you do the right steps and it's no problem. So what this founder did is he's like, we came from a fintech background and we knew that we could raise, but what we didn't know is the pains of the user. And in this case, they wanted to do medical billing. So what this guy did is this guy for 6 months worked, I think maybe for free, but as an admin at a dental practice. And all he did was file claims. And he didn't build anything. He just spent his time, and I was rapt hearing this story because it is so exceptionally rare. But he knew the one thing that most founders don't is the sum of things that I don't know is way greater. And if you are off by 10%, it's really hard to correct if you don't have this user feedback loop. And if you don't anchor to 1, 2, 5, 10 customers, this is impossible. Now, in my business, the way that I've solved this is just to sell consulting. It's like, what do you need? This is the smorgasbord of things that I can do for you. And over time, because I have built a good top of funnel and a decent brand, according to Finn, is to reduce the number of things into a nicher thing. I have actually done less over time, not more. And interestingly enough, almost all of these products start and they do a massive amount of shit. They're just like, to be the system of record, we need to do everything. So now what I'm going to do is I want to dive into a handful of these like AI startups. And I'm not picking on anyone. I want you to understand why me being a semi-industry expert, only because I'm surrounded by people that have to struggle with this problem day in and day out, and had to fix it for them in a variety of different ways before I've ever built any product. I have a unique perspective. So let's actually dive in. This maybe is useful to you. All right. So I want to start with first Fiber AI. Now this is a YC-backed company, and actually most of these are YC-backed, I think. And they got really blew up on Twitter, and people like messaging them, and I saw some replies from these folks responding to prospects, and it was a disaster. They were like, charging per positive reply. It was like, so let's walk through this messaging, and I'm going to tell you my unique insight on this messaging and why I think it's a challenge. Now, connect with any prospect like you know them. This is totally a message from the SDR world. This is a message that an SDR is going to be like, oh yeah, amazing. But this book a demo thing, they're not selling to SDRs. They're selling to revenue leaders. And this is also a bland message that anyone can write, right? For enterprise, using AI-powered marketing automations, book a demo. So this is not the problem. The problem is not, oh boy, if only you had a great relationship with someone. Now, relationships do power deals, but the epic challenge today is like, why you, why now? It's actually about you, not about the prospect. And the introspection, oh, I touched my mic. The introspection that companies have is weak, and there is not a great framework for them to improve it. And so let's keep going at this messaging here. Okay, this is good, right? This is a different problem though. This is like a channel problem. So they're saying my first best insight, the thing that you care the most about, is deliverability. And totally agreed, this is a great message. I think things like spin tags are really silly because they're a way to get around the robots for sending bad messages. This near identical emails is good. So I think this is a good message, especially if you were selling email, right? This does not make that clear. Okay, great. I do think that this is true, this hyper precision, but I don't think that this is the problem, because none of this information is about a problem, right? These are all firmographics. So if you've read Clayton Christensen, he talks about jobs to be done. And part of the job to be done is actually, what problem are these companies solving? So the fact none of this information is about a problem a Shopify owner is struggling with. Now, let me give you an example here that would be much better. And a better example would actually be if they showed Gorgias as a customer that is using this data. And this to me means that they don't have a lot of customers and they haven't actually done specific campaigns, because this shit won't work. Gorgias does customer support for Shopify. And one of the things that they do exceptionally well is respond for tracking links. So one of the things that Gorgias might care about is, when are support teams responding slowly? And that might show up in the Shopify user reviews on the Better Business Bureau site, right? None of these data sets, right? Crunchbase, Built With, LinkedIn, Gartner, none of them are going to tell you that. But that's really how they have to do growth. So there's a huge, gigantic hole on the right side here that this company doesn't know about, that if they had spent more time being problem adjacent, they would know. Now, to be fair, it's not that far off, but it's far off in a way that matters. Okay, also, none of these things, this is close but no cigar. The fact that they're a product manager, they joined last month, they have 1,000 LinkedIn connections, and they worked at Google, that still says nothing about what they're doing today. And actually, this Google thing, this is close. So imagine this. If they worked at Google and they started a startup with 1 to 10 people, you could then speak specifically about the problem here. So they're missing the important link, which is why you, why now, and this doesn't tell it. The bounce detection stuff is good. That this is a problem. Okay, notice that they stopped at the pitch. So yeah, okay. So this shit is from Eric Nowoslowski. He does this food thing to try to feel personalized. But this is not the problem. The problem is not the... I gave Eric so much shit for this. But the problem is not that, oh, we're just friends, right? Notice that they stop at the pitch, because this is where all the hard shit happens. They don't even show that to you. Best restaurant on campus, right? This is totally missing the mark. This is throw up and show up. And so this is like, oh, if I just improve the throw up, the rest of the message will be good, right? Yeah, this is Line.ai did this, where it's just have a personalized sentence and then jump into the pitch. And that is totally missing the mark. And there is no golden nugget for your personal outreach. It's not about personalizing to the person. That's not really the problem. The problem here is, if you know why they're targeted and none of this shit tells you that, that you have an understanding about the problem they have. It's really hard to build a product like this. That is the challenge. That is the challenge. And these companies trying to solve it with like AI hacks, this is going to get real tired really quick. And when it gets really tired really quick, people are going to try to make this, take in more content and personalize more. But it's still not going to get the thing, the hard thing, the most important thing, which is like, why you, why now? Why you, why now? And because my guess is that these founders haven't spent a lot of time building revenue engines, that they built a 1 to 1.2 solution. How can we make the SDRs more productive? Not what does the future look like? I do love this approach, and I think that this is right. This swipe right thing is really interesting because then you can have some additional opinions about no good, good, and presumably that can train the model. I don't know if you can do this though without any context. Like the review it thing is interesting because if they can help you adjust the messaging, but I think that the problem here is actually you probably don't want your SDRs writing these messages. Yeah, this is a really good tactic when you don't have great social proof. You're just saying like, oh, we've closed these customers, but how many customers we really have? So I think that this is like not too far off the mark, but it's off the mark in the way that matters most. And I think that the reason that these Fiverr guys have it, or women, I don't know who they're founded by, that the reason that this is a challenge is they're probably further along their messaging is they've spent more time with customers because they blew up on Twitter. So they were able to course correct as they met with more and more revenue leaders. Okay, this is also a YC-backed company. Okay, so this is really interesting, right? These are actually not customers; these are integrations. I've used this tactic before. It's like Lemlist, HubSpot, Salesforce don't work with them. These are just the people that they tricked it here. Yeah, this is like trust us, and I'm very super skeptical of the trust us. This is the sort of Sixth Sense message, which is like, oh, we know who your ideal customers are. It's like, you probably don't even know who your ideal customers are, so why would you trust me? Again, I think hyper-personalization is totally wrong. Okay, we can send 100 of hyper-personalized emails to who, why now? This is interesting. I love this. Funding updates tells you nothing about a company really, just that they have money, you like their money, and you want their money. Job changes is very interesting, right? UserGems built a whole business on this, and now it's like a commoditized play across tools. But again, this is why specificity matters. Job changes for existing customers, for new CMOs, and why. Promotions also is really interesting. I don't think people are really leveraging this. And even if this is so simple, like just you, and this is where niching is really helpful, right? If they just niched and said, all we do is we track promotions with your existing customer base for the purpose of upsells, totally a good business. Not a good billion-dollar business, but a great place to start. And champion tracking, this is like table stakes. People just build this shit because UserGems built a pretty good business doing it. This is ridiculous. There's no axis. Like, what is this? Why did they do this? They should actually mention the companies. This seems interesting. I don't believe this stat. I just don't believe it. 95%. I don't believe it. I don't know what this means. Don't believe it. This is just this is an unhinged claim, and they can't claim it for every industry. So I don't know why they're doing it. That's interesting. Wait. So they do advertising too? So strange. Why those things are not related? And they do customer journey stuff? Whoa. Whoa. These like two things are like totally different products. I don't know why they're talking about this. Yeah, this doesn't make any sense. Yeah, okay. This is user gems. I, I don't know what that means. AI doesn't have understanding of context, current information. What does that mean? Okay. I should sell my jobs data. Probably not after this video. Right. Okay, let's dive into one more. Okay, Luna. Now, this is like a perfect thing for you to do as an early sales rep, or if you're a founder that's looking to build in this space, go see what people are doing and say, why are you any different? And what insight do you have that they don't have? Now, the only way I have been able to come up with my insights is to sell people services and work with them on services. So, mind-blowing emails. This is like emails. This email thing is really interesting that people are like really into the email specifically. Yeah, this highly personal email thing I think is totally wrong. And this is people copying other people, right? Like, could you really tell the difference between Fiverr, Persona, and Luna? I don't think I could. Fiverr has probably the most differentiated messages so far. Like, everyone knows the answer is no. I don't think this is actually a bad thing. I think there's a whole business here on juicing personal connections. Yeah, okay, everyone knows this is bad. I don't think you're fighting against ads. I think that your big enemy is, as Andy Raskin would say, like, your big enemy here is not ads. It's the current way of doing cold email or cold outreach of any kind. Yeah, this message is bland. This is interesting. Show me the message. I don't believe this without the message. And also events, is that emails? Like, see, here's the thing. Did they get a 5.49% reply rate by sending 100 people like 20 emails each? And like, this is reply rate, not positive reply rate, right? Go die in a shallow river. That's a reply, huh? This is really interesting. I wish that they just led with this. I'm super skeptical. This is like, 2 is where all the magic happens, right? And this is the underpants gnome of the 1, 2, 3. If you haven't seen it, you should. South Park. Step 1, take underpants. Step 2, step 3, profit. This step 2 is like where all the juice is. Show me a demo. Am I gonna watch a demo? All right, let's watch a demo. Oh, a 6-minute demo? Nah, fam. Whoa, they're just talking. Okay, let's actually just look. It looks like they're just talking about the message. Let's like see if we can find the final message. All right, so 6 minutes in, and what does the final message look like? All right, all right. Let's talk about how you want to reach out to potential customers for Luna. By creating right, we can ensure. Oh, okay. This is like email copy brainstorm. Whoa, too big. Okay, show me the final message. Okay, this is like totally a sales message, right? Crushing it. It looks like you're crushing it. Okay, I hate that message. It's like, what does that mean? You have offered no specifics. This is just a like, this is a compliment without context, and it's terrible. And then this is show up and throw up. That's what this looks like today. Now, I'm not going to watch. Now, maybe this guy goes into like how it's different, but he doesn't end with an updated message. Like, so that was not good. Okay, the contacts are actually not interesting. But by the way, I should go after this company. This job posting thing is really interesting. the problem is not type. The problem is not typing, right? In the revenue world, like it's not like, oh man, if just only we had to type less. Yeah, this is show up and throw up. Like impressive. Oh, and there's like not spaces here. Why? Oh, it always AI, building deep learning applications. Yeah, it's just like this is like compliment and then nothing specific, nothing about their understanding of your problem. No, there's no value in this email. This is just, hey, do you want to spend time listening to me pitch you? Why would I do that? Right? It'd be better. Luna has all this capability. It's so easy. It's so free. Luna should send them a finalized campaign in Luna. This is done for you. All you have to do is hit play. We'll go play this on 1,000 emails. They'll be sent out automatically, and we'll just see. And if we get a 5% response rate, pay me $20,000. That should be their message. But my guess is they can't deliver that because they're like, hey, this is the best they can do. And they have this like terrible intro. This is very interesting, very, very interesting. I'm not gonna lie, super interesting that Luna is doing this like learning score, because this is where the magic happens, right? What are you sending that's working? The problem is that if it sends things for you, it doesn't have the ability to learn from you, which is terrible, right? It actually needs to be able to understand what is the best human doing, not let us replace the human. Integration is fine. Oh, this is, I think this is a negative sign. This is like the AI has better insights than you. Isn't that great? I don't trust this stat, but it's interesting. That's cool. This is really interesting, and I think that they should, but look, 2612, is that what they said above? Oh, 2156. So these are like relatively small campaigns, which is okay. And this is any reply. I want them to tell me about positive replies. Smartly does this. It's good. Okay. Oh, there's Tom. This ICP thing is very interesting. Sybil's legit. I think they should show some cons. Wait, what are these? Moon? These are moon plan, rocket ship plan, plane plan. Why are there so many plans? Whoa. You have to pay $825 for 2,500 emails? They're on drugs. This is like a vast misunderstanding of the sales tools marketplace. Well, good for them. All right, let's talk about Clay now, because I think Clay has had the most opportunity to meet with more people, and it's a PLG product, but they have a Slack community that's super active. So let's actually go in, and they update their marketing all the time. So if you wanted to steal from anyone's positioning, steal from Clay's. Look, you're most creative. It's your job to come up with the creative. Notice Clay is like, we do not do the creative for you, right? 50 plus data providers, real-time scraping, right? And AI to send campaigns to book more meetings. Okay, I don't love this, but I get it. Scale your most creative outbound ideas. I don't love this because this message is so saturated. It's unbelievable. Now, Clay can actually help you do it, but it's unbelievable. What Clay should say is, and use our proprietary Claygent to combine multiple research steps into one GPT-4 powered workflow, right? That's not about the outcome here. It's about how they do it, which is all the difference for Clay. And people can't copy that. So builds leads, listen, enrich data, write emails. Okay. This is interesting. I don't use Clay for the write emails thing, but probably should. 20,000 leading teams, right? Look at this. Like this social proof is super legit. This is also, this HR H2 is very interesting, right? No more API keys or CSVs. So it's like both speaking to the very technical audience and the non-technical audience that has to download stuff from Apollo. It's like you don't have to deal with that at all. Jobs on LinkedIn, very interesting. Okay, email, mobile data, that's good. Yeah, this is really specific, right? So this is like, because they know that people ask this question, right? Is this a B2B SaaS company? People are going to see this and like, whoa, that's super specific. And summarize has keyword in LinkedIn profile, has B2B keyword. So, oh, prioritize, how cute. They're using the British spelling. They're not British. They're from New York. Double your team's efficiency. Oh, I think some of the people aren't British. I think the marketing person is in Britain. Okay, these are just testimonials. Now, this is really interesting. Notice they don't show the output of the email, which I don't like, but they are talking about input, write a message. Now, that's really interesting. I do think that this is missing context on why you, why now, but this is of all the pages that we've looked at, this page talks the most about the actual way in which the model gets trained, and it is also probably the most specific. So Clay's not perfect here in my opinion, but it's very close and much better than the other ones that we've seen. This reference thing I think is wrong. This notion of just referencing things is like, hey, I saw this. This is going to get commoditized super, super quickly. Again, I think that the best way to do this is actually triangulate why your company matters to this company right now. That's what they should say here. High converting examples. I do love this. They should probably put this up at the top. Clay doesn't know what your prospects want, but you do, and Clay will make it easier to send that, is what they should say. This is interesting. They don't want to replace the SDR team, which is like interesting. I love this use case thing. This library is like actually really helpful. This virtual staffing. I think Eric created a lot of this information. Look at this. It's true. I did write this, and I like to be right in the middle here. This is very nice. I'm so flattered. I do love this. This is a good benefit. I think actually probably that they should lean into this messaging a little bit more. That that actually one of the huge values of Clay that no one else or no one has today compete with is this. It's like Clay has access to data that would cost you at retail rates $2 million a year. But because you can only buy the pieces of it that you want in whatever order that you want, suddenly you have access to something that the analogy here is the PEO organizations that will allow you to become an employee of essentially their organization, so you can buy healthcare at a much cheaper rate, even though you're only a 2-person plus startup. So, boy, this video is long. So let's go back to the original question that Finn posed, which is, how do you build a company? And the thing that you will get from all of the great folks that have built things is that like your mileage may vary from advice. But I think that the one thing that is true, and probably universally true, is that the closer that you can get to the problem as fast as possible and as deep as possible, and that might mean having a lot of shallow conversations, or it might be working at an organization and solving the problem. This is exactly how Kyle Rasmussen built his agency. He worked for this bootstrap company and built their whole outbound engine. It took him 6 months. For one company, it took him 6 months. So how can you imagine one person with the very best tools and access to plenty of capital to build a product without first solving the problem for just one customer? And so I would say that if you are to build a company, the first thing that you should do is get close to users and get close to people that have the problem. And sorry, not probably not just users and buyers. And you want to be responsible for the end-to-end workflow of the outcome that your product delivers. So that is, you should be able to use your product to achieve the outcome that you're seeking. And if you can't use your product to achieve the outcome, like all these AI companies should be using outbound. And they should be sending only AI messages. And they should not, it's funny, right? Like Clay, I think Clay today is not using Clay to grow clay. It's because, in this case, it's because they have such an active community of really, really advanced users, they don't have to. But this is the bar. The bar is to be as close as possible for as long as possible to the deepest possible version of your problem. I've solved this problem by starting with a services business where it's like, you pay me more money, but I go deep into your problem and I'm responsible for the outcome. If I can't use my own tool to achieve that outcome, that is a problem. And I need to keep building the tool until I can plug it into all of my customers' workflows and just generate revenue for them. If revenue is the thing that I'm selling, which it might be in the future, but today it's just data. So yeah, so that's what I think on company building. Finn, I hope that this was a valuable exercise. I tried to teach you here, and maybe the other 6 people that watch this, how to get deep understanding of a market, how to evaluate a market against your current understanding, figure out what your competitors are doing and why they are doing it, and more specifically, what unique thing do you have to say or to provide that doesn't sound like any of them. And all of these tools sound the same. Now, Clay's, of course, done the best here of all these tools that we looked at today. But the only reason that I can evaluate that is because I've spent so much time thinking about and being invested in this problem. And so your singular goal as an early stage founder is to be as problem adjacent as you can with the most senior, insightful people that understand the problem and are struggling with the problem today. And that's the only way that I know to build a business as fast as possible. And it's not to write a line of code, and it's not to necessarily deliver a single unit of value. It's just to be as close to the problem as possible. I hope this was helpful. That's all I got for you. Have an absolutely wonderful Sunday. You might be watching this on Monday, though. All right, bye.